Hello students, today we are going to discuss about security policies and the development of these policies in detail. This topic includes in the fourth unit of your syllabus. So let us start with it. So before going to security policies, first of all, we all should be clear about where are these policies will be implemented. So these policies will be implemented in the organizations or in the companies that have and need to share certain confidential and important information. So when we are talking about confidential information, it is obvious that we need to safeguard this information. So what are the various protocols, various rules which should be applied in order to safeguard or secure the information is all that we are going to discuss in the security policies. So a security policy is technology and vendor independent, and there is no specific rule that needs to be implemented. It can be accomplished on the basis of the goals that had been set by an organization. Okay. So a security policy is a strategy for how an organization will implement the various security principles and the technologies. So it is just a documentation of how an organization will safeguard his information. So as we can say that it is a very essential part to secure the various business information. A security policy is different from security processes and procedures, as I have already told, because when we are talking about security processes and its procedures, there are some definite guidelines, but here there is no definite guidelines of a security policy. We have already discussed about the three basic principles of cybersecurity, which are confidentiality, integrity and availability. So here a security policy must specifically accomplish the same three objectives discussed so far. So it must allow for the confidentiality, or you can say privacy, of the company's information. It must also provide protection for the integrity of the company's information, and also it should provide for the availability of the company's information. Whenever any information is required, it should be available easily. A security policy should have certain sections when it is being defined by an organization. So these sections are basically divided into 7 parts. The first one is overview. So overview, as the name says, it is nothing but it provides an information, a background information on the issue that the policy will address. Second one is purpose. So it will specify why are we going to specify a policy. Third is scope. It will tell you what is the range of the policies that we define. Target audience. It is for whom the policies are being intended. Fifth one is the policy. So this is the main section of the document where we are going to write down certain statements which will help you denoting what are the policies that have been framed for a particular organization. Sixth one is definition. So definitions are provided for basically the technical terms that are being used in a security policy document. This is basically for understanding the things that we have been mentioned in the paper. And the seventh one is the version. So as we have already discussed during the software lifecycle models, that every time a new SDLC model is being developed, there is always a scope of a better version of the model. So the same version is being discussed here, which says that whenever you have a new version, you should always mention what are the various updates in the policies that had been made for the newer version. Next is Why is a security policy necessary? So, a security policy is necessary. It is generally impossible to accomplish a complex task without a detailed plan for doing so. So, a security policy is that plan, and it provides for consistent application of security principles in a company. So after its implementation, it becomes a kind of a reference manual for the company whenever any kind of security arises. Moreover, a security policy indicates senior management commitment to maintaining a secure network, right? Third one, ultimately a security policy is going to reduce your risk of damaging security incidents. So this is the main purpose why we require a security policy, because we want that our data should be secure. Then a security policy can provide legal protection to your company. Okay, so by specifying to your users exactly how they can and cannot use the network, how they will treat confidential information, and the proper use of encryption, so you are reducing your liability and exposure in the event of an incident, right? Further, a security policy provides a written record of your company's policies if there is ever a question about what is or is not an approved act. So it's a kind of guidelines, a written guidelines. So whenever any kind of problem is being created, we can always refer to it. Then security policies are often required by some third parties that do business with the company as part of due diligence process. So any third party which is involved in a particular project can always have a look at the policies which they have to keep in mind in order to deal with an organization. Lastly, one of the most common reasons why companies create security policies today is to fulfill regulations and meet the standards. Okay, so this is all that I had to discuss regarding this topic. Thank you.